I would love to live in a society that doesn't have the concept of gender. That sounds like heaven, but we don't. We're given a binary, male or female, boy or girl, man or woman. It's a system and chosen for you. Society mocks people who fall a little outside that binary, shames those who fall a lot outside of it, and isolates those who fall entirely outside of it. And all who color outside the lines, regardless of their distance, are vulnerable to discrimination and bodily harm. Hi, my name is Charlotte, and I'm transgender, which means that although I was assigned male at birth based on anatomy, I've always felt that, at least on the inside, I'm female.
Welcome to What I've Learned, and the conversation you're about to see is the one which really inspired this whole series. Now, coming out is an incredibly personal and important thing for people in the LGBT community. And the person who we sat down with came out not just in front of their friends and family, but had the courage to do it on Twitter, in front of all those trolls and those names which make no sense and have no faces or identity behind them. And that was an incredibly courageous thing, and a thing which inspired so many people. So we sat down with Charlotte Clymer and got her to read out those tweets, and hopefully to inspire many others in the LGBT community.
Your sex is your assigned designation at birth based on some biological factors. Gender is how you express your identity. I want that system to change, but in the meantime, for the purposes of navigating it with a sound heart and mind, I've arrived at a place where I can no longer attempt to bend myself into a prefabricated shape that looks nothing like who I really am. I've always known by a mile on which side of that binary I am most comfortable. I've known this about myself in some form from an early age. Maybe I didn't know the right words, maybe I couldn't quite articulate the feeling, but I knew it deep in my bones. For 20 years, from the time I was first acutely conscious of it, I simply denied it. Even as a young male child, I deny it. I went through all the appropriate masculine rites of passage. I tried to be traditionally male, and in many ways, I succeeded, at least on paper. I decided when I was a kid that I didn't feel like a boy or man because I hadn't suffered enough to earn it. So the natural solution was more suffering. Taking pain, staying quiet, don't cry, earn your stripes. That's the code, and I needed to stick by it. I tried to embrace all the cultural cues inherent in maleness, particularly as a kid. Some of them I genuinely liked, some not so much, and some I hated and refused to do. But I gave most of them a go. Playing male sports in high school, serving in the military, protecting others, having romantic partners, being an adult who does adult things, praying the switch will flip and my brain will right itself, signposts blowing past me age 10, 15, 20, 25. It has to come, it will. Maybe doing one more male thing I thought, or getting through one more year of being in this body with this presentation will erase the deep, gnawing pain in the pit of my stomach that says I'm actually a woman. But at 28, the heavy truth just collapsed on me. I could no longer hold up that weight and pretend that I simply hadn't suffered enough. Something had to give. And I hated the thought of living a full life trying to be someone I'm not. But I was still scared. It's a hell of a mountain to climb. There's so many barriers that stand in your way when that fog lifts, and always on the terms of others. How would my partner still love me? How would anyone else ever date me? How could I pass as a woman? How can I afford a transition? How will I ever get a job? How will I feed myself? How will my friends react? How much am I risking my personal safety? How? Then the election happened, and my partner and I broke up and went our separate ways in the same week. A lot of instability for anyone. That was not the time I thought to venture into the great unknown. But this past summer, I asked myself what a good time would be. When Trump is out of office, when I have enough money to transition. Just the existence of those questions in my brain made my skin crawl. And I considered my transgender friends, particularly trans folks of color. They're living out their true selves despite the immense obstacles. And while not perfect, at least they have something real. I want that. I considered the 27 transgender Americans murdered last year, the most ever, and the Trump administration's attempted ban on transgender folks in the military, and the high rate of violence experienced by transgender women of color, and the fact that it's still legal in 28 states for companies to fire employees for being gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or queer. I'm a military veteran. I'm a proud Texan. I pay taxes. I attend church. But truth be told, none of that should matter. No transgender person, in fact, no human being, should have to prove their humanity is worthy by adopting traditional cultural cues. They should be their true selves and respected by society. Folks who are LGBTQ should live on their own terms. I will always stand by that. But visibility, when possible, is monumentally important. I've often thought of what 8-year-old trans kids in Central Texas are thinking when they walk on the same ground I did when I was 8. I want to be visible to them. I want them to see me live out our truth. So what's next? I don't know. This won't happen overnight. It'll take time and patience. But I am starting the process of transitioning. I'm going to live my life in time as a woman. I'll still be an imperfect human being, but I'll be imperfectly me.